Welcome back to Full-Time Yoga Teacher Podcast. My name is Reika and I am your host. If you are returning listeners, thank you so much for coming back. And if you are a new listener, welcome. Welcome to Full-Time Yoga Teacher Podcast. In this podcast, I interview full-time yoga teachers from around the globe to share their journey from how they got to where they are at in their career and how they are doing what they love as their job every single day, and some of the challenges that they have overcame in their journey, as well as what inspired them to keep going. So I hope you're enjoying all the interviews I have been releasing, but this week is actually the fourth of the 4-part series that I did with Allie, where we are talking about hands-on assist in the yoga world. So today's the fourth and the final mini-series of the hands-on assist. We're talking about different types of hands-on assists. So I hope you're enjoying this short mini-series of conversations that Ali and I had. And next week, we will go back to the regular schedule of me releasing and sharing the conversations that I've been having with other full-time yoga teachers. I just want to quickly say that today, if you're listening to this in real time, what is it, end of May of 2025, today I ran my first half trail marathon. I have run quite a few road half marathons in my past, especially when I lived in South Africa. I used to run quite a bit, but today was my first trail half marathon that I ran. And it was really fun. I drove up to the Los Angeles National Forest and just climbed up a huge mountain for 7 miles straight and ran down the mountain for next 6 miles straight. And that was the race. And it was a nice challenge. And it was almost to test myself to see how much my trail running has improved, because I've been trail running more lately in the last several months, and I really love being out in nature and running in nature. But today was a nice test to see how well I do in just constant uphill and much higher elevation than I'm used to. So it was hard, it was challenging, but I did it, and I'm very happy, excited, and proud that I've done it. And what was so rewarding at the end was that I found out that I placed third in my age group. So that was really cool. It was a small race, so there wasn't a huge pool of people. So I'm sure that made it easier for me to place something, but that was still really cool. So I really enjoyed the experience, and I hope to do more trail races in the future. So that's all the little announcement that I have for now. So let's get started on the final episode of the 4-part series that I did with Ali on hands-on assist and yoga. And I will speak to you on the other side. Welcome back, Ali, for the final series of this conversation we're having about hands-on assist and yoga class. And this week, we're talking about different type of hands-on assists. So I think about this a lot because there's so many different ways to relay the information to our students. And, everybody have slightly different learning style. So it's kind of fun to play around with different types. So tell us a little bit about different types of hands-on assists.
That's my type. When I start talking and thinking about the different types, it always bounces back between hands-on and verbal cues. So I definitely think there's hands-on assists, which we kind of defined earlier, you using your hands to twist somebody's rib cage, have their body follow the motion of your hands around their body. There's going to be more verbal assists, which are you talking a person through. There's going to be another version of hands-on assists, which you could say they're two separate or one and the same, but proximal or just a tactile hands-on assist. So you are using your hands and you are using your body, but it's more Like you gave an example, like in Warrior 2, externally rotate, your right hip and move your knee gently out into my hand. So they're moving their body part on their own into your hand to the point where they're going to touch because you can kind of see that line that you want their bones to line up to, right? Using your x-ray goggles. I talk about my x-ray goggles a lot in my just hands-on assist teacher course. So there's like hands-on, obviously verbal. I feel like that, yes, that's verbal cues. It's different than an assist, but it kind of turns into one. There's the proximal, which is like light touch, maybe just pointing to a body part. You're like, move your right shoulder or something, lift your right shoulder blade up. And you can touch it, and then they're like, "Oh, that's my shoulder blade. Let me move that up." So it's not so much this like gnarly twisting motion with your hands. It's more like a touch, and they move. Then there's literally like shadow adjusting or just pointing. You still using your body, but not in a way where you're really making contact. You can say, take that front knee, because sometimes people are very out of touch with their body and they're going to like move their back leg or their shoulder. They don't even know what the hell is going on. We've all been there as new students, pointing to their knee. Move this knee outwards. Okay, great. You can also just get into the pose with them and show them. Have your foot turned the same way as theirs, but you want their foot to turn. So you're going to say, turn your foot out to the left, and they're going to copy you. That really works, especially with brand new students. Sometimes you put your hands on somebody's body and they fight you. They not fight with their punching. They fight you with their muscles. You can feel them tense and forcibly not move with your hands, which I always find like I always want to just laugh and be like, you have no idea what I mean. Which makes sense because if you're going fast and you're saying a lot and you're teaching and then all of a sudden you're adjusting, they might not even fucking realize what you've just said. They're probably in la la land thinking about lunch or something. So sometimes the hands-on just like doesn't even work, which you would think would be the most effective way to assist. Sometimes it's not.
I love all the different ones you mentioned because, yeah, there's so many different ways to
There's more ways.
teach. Yes, yes. And I love the one that you call what is it?
Proximal or tactile.
Proximal tactile. That's my favorite one. And I think that's the one I use the most is like push into my hand. Can you lift your rib cage up into my hand or breathe into my hand? Kind of allowing, rather than me moving students' body, I'm asking students to move their body into my hand or into my fingertips or something so they understand what I'm trying to get them to do without me moving their body parts into the direction that I'm hoping that they
And
would.
I feel like it's like a good intro to adjusting or assisting. So when you're, with brand new student, you don't know their body or what they can even do. I'm sure they don't even know either. It's like you can start by saying, move your knee, move your thigh bone out in my hand. They've started to externally rotate. Then you can look at them and say, hey, do that same thing, that I was saying. Externally rotate your front leg. And they're like, I know what you mean because you've shown me that before. Right? Then you can get to the point where you're doing more hands-on because they're understanding. It's like, you don't want to just jump in and start moving people around in down dog because they're just going to go, shoulders move. Okay, now hips move. And it's like one little domino effect. You correct one and then the other goes, "Bah," and you correct the other and the other goes, "Bah."
Yeah. Yeah, I love that kind of assist because it kind of gives students, in my opinion, it's like it's empowering them or it's giving the power to them to move their body in space. And another one that I like what you said is like giving them a visual. Like maybe you're like, okay, like doing Warrior 2 in front of them. It's like, can you shift your knee this way? Or can you shift the weight to this way or that way? And you kind of like showing them. And that is, like you said, a great one for a beginner student who might have hard time like connecting their brain, mind to body. That connection is still developing. Then if they can actually see somebody like move from here to A to B, it's like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. So I love that cue, those kind of, I guess, adjustment or teaching in that way. And obviously the verbal one, I think I learned that try verbal cue first. And if they're not responding or students aren't getting, then maybe do the manual or hands-on. sometimes verbal is hard for people to get though. Like if they're new and they're just so their mind is already busy thinking about right foot there, left foot there. And if I start talking about the rotation or can you lengthen the spine or tailbone moves there, this direction, that direction, rib cage, it might be too much. So if they have the visualization or sometimes hands-on can be such a helpful way for them to like understand like, oh, that's what you were talking about.
And another great assist to know and try to teach is self-adjustments, self-assists. You're in Warrior 2, you have your hands on your hips. I say straighten your leg and lift your front hip. You're gonna know what I mean because I'm gonna do it with you. I'm gonna tell you put your hands on your hips. You're gonna literally feel your pelvis move. And you're gonna have that own tactile reference, your own like tactile cue on your own body. I'll do things where I'm like, bend your right arm, bring your hand to the front of your chest. Keep that contact, slide your hand down your other arm. And it's like, take it slow enough, people start to hear it and then they look around and they're like, oh, I'm actually supposed to be touching my own body. Okay, why am I doing this? And then they're like, that's really part of the pose. I'm actually moving my shoulder blade and doing this thing. And it's like, you can kind of get away with not adjusting if you choose to. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I definitely think as a teacher, like I said a couple times, it's good to know you use it or don't. But like knowing how to teach people to self adjust is really valuable. It might take a second. You might say, get out of the pose, do this, touch here, get back into the pose, feel the difference. Another thing to, add to your teaching if you're not already, I think self-assists are chef's kiss.
I love the self-assist, and I remember my teacher, Annie Carpenter, used a lot of that during the pandemic when she was teaching on Zoom. She's like, everybody, place your thumb on your left hip crease or something.
I've
She's like,
done classes with her. I know she's like,
pull it back in space. Or sometimes I'll teach like external internal rotation of your arm bones, and sometimes I'll say like, okay, everybody grab your arm, left hand, grab your right arm, rotate it, external rotation, rotate it this way, and then I'll rotate it this way, that's internal rotation. Kind of giving them like feel it in their body with their own hands and how that can like connect a lot of dots or have like this aha moment in someone's brain.
yeah. And obviously, if y'all are yoga teachers out there and you take my adjustments course, like we're going to go into all this stuff in so much depth. I've made it so it's like a 10-hour course. So it's not just little blips of podcasts, but serious time that you get to take to adapting the information inwardly and then turning it into your own and sharing it. So I love that we got to do this and talk about this and know that we can do more talking about it if you want, people.
And not only, I feel like those kind of workshop and training is so important because we actually get to do it, practice it with our hands, learn it in theory, talk about it, discuss it, like have it in your head, like actually conceptualize, but then do it with our hands. And usually in the training setting, you feel comfortable, practicing hands-on adjustment because everybody's here to do that anyway. You have a consent. And more we feel comfortable and confident, we're going to be able to touch our students with confidence rather than those touch that we talked about that feels awkward because you can tell that teachers are feeling awkward or unsure when they're touching. And without practice, it's hard to feel confident. And I think that's why we need more spaces like trainings and workshop like you're teaching so that teachers can practice. It's so important.
Exactly.
Under a good supervision.
Under the good supervision, our wise selves.
Yes. Is there anything else about this topic that we missed that you want to talk about, different type? Obviously, anyone listening, if you want to learn deeper about this, like I said, learn from the upcoming workshop that Allie might be having later this year.
Keep your ears and eyes open. Eyes on my website. I'll be leaving some bits of information there. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of one of those little mini episodes we could talk a lot longer about different types of adjust, assist, cueing, but I think we kind of covered a good basis there.
Yeah, I think we did. And hopefully it gave enough little teaser as well as like little nuggets for you to think about next time you are adjusting, assisting, or you're thinking about adjusting, assisting. There's the different ways to do it. Um, and yeah, I really appreciate you coming on to have this 4-part series conversation about adjustment because I do think it's kind of becoming this lost art and that makes me a little bit sad. So I think it's it's important that we're learning from good teacher about hands-on assist.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just here to share all the wonderful knowledge that I've been, shared. It's been shared to me. Um, and yeah, I'm super excited that we get to talk about it too. I was really happy.
Yes, thank you so much, Allie, for your time. And I'll be linking how you can contact Allie and her website and all that on the show notes, so you can always find her and reach out to her. Thank you so
Yes,
much,
please
Allie,
do.
for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode and the conversation I had with Allie. This was the fourth and final episode of this mini series on hands-on assist. And I hope you learned something about hands-on assist, or maybe made you want to learn more about hands-on assist. So I definitely have been linking how you can get hold of Allie on the show notes. So I encourage you to go sign up for her newsletter or follow her on social media, or go check out her website. So when she is teaching another continuing education trainings on hands-on assist, you can go learn from Allie. That is it for all the announcement for me. So if you really enjoyed this episode, please share this episode with your friends and your yoga teachers, or anyone you think might benefit. And I would appreciate it if you can like or subscribe, or a 5-star, or anything you can do on whatever platform you listen to about this podcast, so more people can find it. And you can always reach out to me on Instagram. That is where I'm most active, at Reika Yoga. Or you can find me on my website, www.reikayoga.com. So I hope you have a good day, and I will speak to you next week.